this plastic, all of this trash is not recyclable, but it is all usable for your artwork. Let me show you how. So let's start with the basic shopping bag. So this is how I like to dismember shopping bags. I make sure they're pretty straight. They're smooth. I smooth them out, turn them right side out. You do need a good pair of sharp scissors. And the first thing I do is slice the bottom off. Don't throw it out. You can do many things with this as well. And I slice off the edges of the handles and straighten it out. Then I usually slice away like this. So then I have all of this material to use. So all of this white is good to use. That doesn't bother me. It usually gets cut up or covered up. But these letters are great to use too. So I usually slice them away. The letters can be cut up. The thank you can be used as is, or they can be cut up and be used. And I slice away this as well. And this could be used like this. Or cut apart letter by letter. And this could be used by itself. This could be used cut up twice. And this could be used as is or even cut apart. So that's the basic shopping bag. So that's a lot of white material or whatever material happens to be the color of your shopping bag. There's plenty of solid color material there. And lots of stuff for the graphic part. And don't forget these, good for texture. All right, this is your basic bread bag. There's a lot of good stuff on here as well. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find the seam and cut it apart. And the seam is right there. It's hard to see, but I like to find the seam. And I slice right along the seam. And there's two more seams here. This one is a little bit of a fancier bag. And then there's a seam on the back. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're one of those people who likes to make a very perfect cut, that's fine. If you're one of those people who does it a little more sloppily, that's okay as well. So now I have it opened up and flat. And I do want to make sure it's flat for the most part because that helps. So now I can slice away. Many parts of this are usable. I can slice away the green. So there's green on the other side. That's all good for use. Nice, good green color. The clear is useful as well because it can be a good layer over something if you have tiny little bits of something. This guy is great for collage. So I save him for the collage. I can choose to cut him out later or even cut him apart. And here he is again over here. So I want to save him for here as well. it's good to have him in slightly smaller, bigger and smaller, and I can cut this apart as well and use that. And this, including these little things over here. All of that is usable. I can use all these words and letters here, even more color here if I need that color, and this as well. And here as well, I will use him in a smaller portion here. There's a great little heart here for stuff. And all this lettering is all good for texture and color. So, bubble wrap. I have this little envelope that came here. So, bubble wrap, I slice it along the seam edges as well. And cut it apart. And there's a nice long strip good to go. Take the sticker off, no need for the sticker. So this is good to go. I can choose to trim away these sides. See how there's a little bit of concentration of color there. And then the other thing you want to do is pop the bubbles before you start working with it. So you can either therapeutically sit there and pop all the bubbles, or you can figure out what tool in your stash can work for popping the bubbles. I happen to have this tool. It's a tracing tool up for pattern making from a long time ago. So I just do this and pop more bubbles faster this way. But I have to tell you, it's not as pleasurable as popping the bubbles. Okay, so then some clothing I ordered came in this. This is great to use as well. Again, I cut it apart on the seams. There's some sticky stuff here. If I can peel it away, I will. And sometimes it is possible to peel it away and use it. If not, I just cut it away and use it. But I definitely will cut it apart at the seam. Like this. And now I have this large portion to use as a layer over something else. If this comes off easily, then great. If not, I leave it on. It's extra texture. I will also cut away the letters and the symbols because this is great lettering here. So I just slice it off. This is nice and big and lots of letters I can cut apart or use full words to reconstruct. So that's good to use. This is very sticky here, so I'm going to cut this away. And this, unfortunately, will go in the trash or will get stuffed into something. But this is excellent to use. I will cut away this part right here as well. And use that. And I will cut it apart and use it in portions and depending on what it is. This is number 4 plastic. It is not recyclable at all. So this way it gets recycled. I can use it to layer over teeny tiny little bits or build up layers. All right. Plastic bag for the apples. This can be cut apart and used as well. First thing I would do is see if I can cut, nope, that doesn't come off. So I'm going to cut off the handles. Cutting off the handles. The handles are all cut off, so they can be used as is. Just straighten it out. It's a nice strip. That's good to use the way as is. And then I will cut apart the bag. So try to fold it up as neat as I can. And slice away the bottom. Use that, don't throw it away. And then So some of this is not going to be usable, but I flatten out as much of it as I can. So I have the most material. And then I look for the seam, and sometimes the seam is not so easy to find, so I just slice along the edge of the graphic. And now I have a nice thick flat. This is a nice heavy plastic. It's good for a base. It could also be layered. So I can cut apart the apples here. All of these can be cut out and used for collage. There's some really good green color here. All this lettering is used for collage as well. And you even have some pieces of solid clear plastic or semi-clear plastic. Here's another apple bag. So I will do the same here. Take that out. The paper can go into recycling or more art. And I flatten it out like this. These are also good handles to use, so I cut them apart. Nice good handles. This is nice thick plastic where you need a really solid color white. That's good. Then I slice away the bottom. This label says recyclable. It's not. It's all whitewashing. Now see, this is from the farmer's market. It doesn't cut away. I don't see a seam, so I'm just going to cut on the edge here on the fold. So all of this is great to use. All those apples, this will get cut apart. The horse, the guy will get cut apart. All those letters, even this right here, these stripy edges will get cut apart. The letters here, all of this can get cut apart and used really, really well. So, I have a puppy. Well, he's always going to be my puppy. But this is a great bag to do. All you have to do is rinse it out, and it's good to go. In this case, I'm just going to cut the edges off. I'm going to cut this edge off too. Open it up. So there's a corner. It's all seamed in the corner here, so I'm going to cut these corners off. I'm going to cut these corners off. Again, don't throw these out. Good to go. Good to use. So there's great stuff to get used here. There's a little bit of clear space. All these letters can be cut apart. I will definitely cut out the pup, and all these bone-shaped cookies I will cut apart. The only thing that I will not use is, you see there's this the Ziploc part here. Sometimes you can peel them off, and sometimes you can't. So I would just slice it away and not use, because that could be damaging to your machine to stitch through, or to the needle at the least to the needle. So that's good to use. My pup's medicine came into this plastic bag, so I would totally use this. I'm cutting away the Ziploc. You can save it for hand stitching. You just don't stitch through with the needle, with your sewing machine through it. And then I would cut apart on the seams like this and like this. And this is all totally usable. Lots of good solid clear plastic, and I would cut this apart and use this as collage. All right, paper towels, toilet paper, it all comes apart. This is all good stuff to use. So this is ripped. So what I would continue to do is I would continue on this rip, and I would open this up. And again, just like all on the other bags, I will cut away the edges. To open it up as flat as I can. Oh, there's more in here too. That's all good stuff to use. So I flatten this out. Oh. Cut this away. And now, I can finish this off. I have lots of stuff to use that's good. There's a lot of white areas to use. All this lettering can get cut apart. I love to use the barcodes in my collages. These letters will all get cut apart. Good blue strips, lots of barcodes. So all of this is totally usable, including these letters here and this long strip here. All of this totally usable for your art. Okay. These little bags are a little, yes, less usable, but usable nonetheless. So this is all like melted together. I would cut this apart. And find a way to use this. There's a nice sort of a glass-like texture in here. That could be used. This lettering here is used. And then there's still enough clear plastic to be used, especially when you're doing a collage and you have a lot of tiny little pieces. It's good to use this over your collage. And I have one more final bag. So this bag, I don't even know where it's from. Some tourist bureau, but this is great stuff. So, cut it apart. Cut it apart. And look at all this. Good colors. You can use it for color or for the figures you can cut out. You can cut out all those little people, even these little letters. Lots of good stuff on here. Boats, berries, plenty of good stuff. So, all you need is a sharp pair of scissors. That is it.